actually think this is really a cool thing because we are in the home.
Get your geek on.
That's
Sarah.
right. Um, as a soon-to-be family nurse practitioner in a clinic, I think that there is a limitation to what the provider can see and understand about that environment where the child lives. Um, I think pairing um, the provider with the people working in the home is really important because I want eyes and ears that are there to support that child. And I think that having a partnership between a provider and an ABA provider is really helpful. But to do that, we have to find a common language, and that can be kind of challenging. Our line graphs don't fit in well with other science, unfortunately. It's just not the way that it's measured. So we have to find a way to perhaps look at the notes that are on our patient summary and see if we can put our information into that type of format to share with the physician. We can accompany our clients to their appointments if they'd like. It'll help with the behaviors while they're waiting. It can help them through the procedure that they're having that day. And it can also give us an opportunity to collaborate with the other professionals if the parent would so desire. So I think that those are some ways that we can assist, but we can also keep an eye on what we know as just people of what we need to do to be healthy, right? We need to move our bodies every day. We need to drink water. We need to try to get good sleep. We need to have good social interactions that are supportive. Um, we need to try to eat a healthy diet, right? So we can assist with all of those things in the home in a way that other providers can't. And I think that's a great opportunity for ABA to support health.
Yeah. Sometimes I support transitions, like if a parent has to go in to the hospital for a procedure, or if a child has to go into the hospital for a procedure for several days. I will use. I don't want to say it's a social story, but I will use visual priming
Yeah.
materials
Yeah.
in which I will make the child the superhero. And I'll say, Super Sarah. And I'll say, Super Sarah's going to go to the hospital and she's going to meet nurses and doctors, and they're going to have a bed, and, or
Yeah.
mom has to go to the hospital and you'll visit her here and there, and just really making a story for them to look at, like about 10 days out from when the
Yeah.
hospital stay is. And I think that goes a really long way, because the more they hear the priming visual, the more questions they have. And the more questions they ask prior to it happening, the more comfortable they feel. They
Absolutely.
get that information they need.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to have ice cream in the hospital? Am I going to eat hamburgers in the hospital? Will they have dino chicken in the hospital? Like,
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
because even then, sometimes in the hospital, when the dinner comes, you're like, "This is foreign. I don't eat Jello." Like, "This is ice chips."
Yeah.
It's like, so the food itself in the hospital can also be foreign.
That's true. And
Yeah.
really, there's nothing scarier, I think, than the unknown, right? So it gives our imaginations a chance to run wild if we don't know what to expect in the coming days. So I think that's an excellent approach of seeing here's where we're going, and these are people that we'll meet, and this is what we can expect while we're there. At least takes a little bit of that anxiety away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just having the opportunity to have the questions be answered prior in that priming,
Mhm.
it goes such a long way towards psychological safety.
I agree.
Yeah. Um, how do you teach communication when a child has significant medical limitations?
So we really have to focus here on what the child can do. So we have some children that can make selections by looking in a field of two items, for example, to make choices. We have some children that are able to use what we would call an AAC device or an iPad, for example, that they can press or type to explain, what it is that they want or what they're thinking or feeling. Um, we have signing. Some children can sign to communicate. Now, sometimes the child may be really struggling to communicate in any of those ways, in which case it really relies on us to identify those signs of they look like they're uncomfortable. What what do I see here that could maybe change to improve the way that they are feeling? Um, and
And
that
we've done some great work.
yeah,
Like we've done big switches where it's like yes button and
yeah,
no button
yeah.
for them to communicate. We've also done ASL. Um but as soon as the communication comes, it has to really be taught in a very methodical way, whatever you
Yeah.
go for. And a lot of people say multimodal communication.
Mhm.
So, I'm going to learn bathroom. I'm going to learn some signing. I'm
Mhm.
going to have my AAC device. I'm also going to be able to say yeah or
Mhm.
shake my head no. So, non vocal cues and communication.
Yeah, so all of that, I think it really does depend on the child and what they can do. And I really like focusing on what they can do well.